that brings us to the worst of the moment. The worst of the moment. And Rand Paul, he's talking, and I'm glad you brought up Rand Paul, Doug, because he is asking for Dr. Fauci to be uh, fired from his position. He was on Fox News, and he's calling out to everyone that Dr. Fauci needs to be fired, which I know none of us think that, but it is Rand Paul. You know, my mom used to always say, consider the source. So, you know, we've covered it time and time again. The things that Rand Paul has been debunked, right, on past shows, but he's still on the tail of Dr. Fauci, which Dr. Fauci is an excellent, pathologist who has spearheaded our entire country's COVID response. He doesn't need to go anywhere. He needs to stay right where he is doing exactly what he's doing. He has saved people from dying. I feel like because of Dr. Fauci, I am still here.
Right.
And I just want to say God bless Dr. Fauci, okay? But what do you think about Rand Paul always saying something out of turn, something stupid? He is dumber than a bag of rocks. I'm just going to say it.
Well, growing up, I heard the term of an educated fool, and that right there is to me what Rand Paul is. Bless his heart. He's the one that had COVID, said that it wasn't real for real, and ended up having it and going around and put other people's lives in jeopardy. That just tells you so much about him as a person. And that one, he's out for himself and not for the people around him, which we are the people around him. That's just a common courtesy, or I don't understand it. I don't understand him, and I don't understand the Commonwealth of Kentucky that sent him there, because I didn't vote for him, because I like things to make sense. He does not make sense. And I called him for what he was, which is an educated fool. And I mean, there are candidates on the Democrat side, and I hope that we as a people, citizens, registered voters in the Commonwealth, do our due diligence, doing our research and looking at the history and looking at how much he has been playing Kentuckians for fools. Because we're not fools, are we? No, we're not.
Of course not.
True. Mama didn't
No.
raise no fool over here. So I'm just hoping that everyone's paying attention, because look at him and call him what it is. Educated.
His comments on this Cleveland study are crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he's claiming that unvaccinated people do not need to be vaccinated at this time. He tweeted, and let me get this for you correctly. The Cleveland Clinic study of 52,238 people, employees actually, shows unvaccinated people who have had COVID-19 have no difference in reinfection rate than people who had COVID-19 and who took the vaccine. However, the study actually summarized, and of course, Rand Paul's going to just run with whatever he wants to run with. But the study actually summarized it was 52,238 individuals that were involved in the study, but most were vaccinated. That's where he got his information wrong. It states COVID-19 did not occur in anyone over the 5 months of the study among the 2,579 people previously infected with COVID-19, including 1,359 who did not take the vaccine. So that isn't even 50,000 people. That's under 5,000 people regarding Rand Paul's comment in a very short amount of time, which was the 5 months. So up on the screen, you're going to see two maps that explain how partisanship has poisoned our fight against COVID-19. So, Ken, do you think that I know what your answer is going to be, but I just want to see how you are going to articulate this to the viewers. Do you think Rand's misinformation is harming Kentuckians and also our listeners? We don't want to forget our wonderful, beautiful listeners as well.
Absolutely. No question. I mean, no masks. I mean, he rallies against coronavirus lockdowns. He's the first senator, like we said before, to get COVID. And this was days after his dad, what was his, I can't, Ron Paul, called it a hoax in an article that was a national story. I mean, he just pushes anti-vax, spreads misinformation. And if you look at this map, I've got it kind of like pulled together with this. I've kind of dissolved these two maps together. So this is an election map from 2020. The red states are the ones that our former president won, and the blue states are the one that Biden won. And if you look at the states with the highest vaccination rates, they are also the states that Biden won. So the Paul's message and Trump's message, I mean, CPAC was this week. So the message at CPAC this week was, we don't get vaccinated. It was a crazy, there's a clip that I want to play from CPAC where the crowd actually cheers Biden missing a vaccination goal. Here's the clip.
They were hoping, the government was hoping, that they could sort of sucker 90% of the population into getting vaccinated, and it isn't happening, right? There's a younger people.
Well, I'll tell you this, I don't need to hear them cheer, Ken, to know that they were cheering, right? Because they're acting like this is some unconstitutional rights and we are just trying to take over their rights. But when I read the Louisville newspapers in 1919 through 21, people wore masks. They had pictures of people. Some people wore like the gas masks, and some people were wearing white cloth masks. The clergy got together. There were things, articles, and advertisements, could you say, or what do you want to call PSAs? I would like to say, from the cardinal, the preachers, the priests, the rabbis, and everybody else, saying we need to stay away from the churches and the temples. So this is not new. This is just another agenda to keep us sick, to keep us uneducated, and to keep us without gaining the wealth as Americans we deserve. So if you're dead, you sure can't make no money. Am I right about it? So go ahead, Doug.
Yeah, the only thing I might add, Rand Paul, I believe, ran on when he was first elected on term limits. And I wish he would just fulfill that campaign promise and just not rerun. And I know he's going to rerun, and I will be voting for whoever runs against him.
And you know what? It's funny how people go into the game and are proclaiming, I'm for term limits, but once they get there, they seem to forget. It's very alarming. It's just, once again, interesting to me. I find a lot of things interesting, for sure.
Power is a serious aphrodisiac.
Yeah.
Power is one of the worst addictions known to mankind, which equals the pride. And when I read my word, it says pride comes before the fall. So we're just going to prophesy right now that hopefully in 2022, Rand Paul will fall. But let me give you some facts really quick as far as the COVID deaths. I hate to be the prophet of doom, but it's really important that you know that as of July the 13th, just over 4 million people worldwide have died because of COVID. 607,000 Americans, 607,000 Americans, 7,301 Kentuckians. So, how did we get to this point where Americans are now cheering the fact that so many are living without this protection? And so many more will die. We do have this Delta variant, and they tell me if even our president, Joe Biden, has said it's not looking good for those that are not vaccinated. So why are they cheering like somebody just won the Super Bowl? Denise?
I have no explanation for that. I'm a very logical person. I like things to make sense. That does not make sense to me. And I feel like Spock. It's unlogical. It doesn't make sense.
Nobody can understand. My mama used to always say to me, Kimberly, quit trying to think rational for irrational folk. You will drive yourself crazy trying to do that. And this is one of these instances that even I don't have an answer of why these people would be cheering for people to not be vaccinated. But I will say this. These are some facts from the CDC, and this is really important. I want you guys to know this and tell all your friends, your family, everybody that may not be vaccinated at this point. Yes, you should be vaccinated regardless of whether you already had COVID-19. That's because experts do not yet know how long you are protected from getting sick again after recovering from COVID-19. Even if you have already recovered from COVID-19, that would be myself. I did have COVID-19. It is possible, although rare, that you could be infected with the virus that causes COVID-19 again. So the conclusion of this whole debacle is that anti-vax Republicans, as I would like to call them, anti-vax Trumpsters, and Rand Paul are definitely the worst of the moment.
That's a mouthful. But I guess that leads us into
Can I add just a tiny little,
go for it.
teeny tiny.
Go ahead.
My biggest issue is with the Delta 9 variant and what's happening with the information that's happening that Rand Paul and CPAC are putting out is that people are believing this misinformation, and it's making the pandemic longer. And what's going to happen is there's going to be more variants, and there's going to be more dead people. And these potential variants can affect vaccinated people potentially at some point in time, because the virus has the ability to change. And if it changes enough, we are going to be in trouble. And it's great that they've learned how to sequence the vaccine. And so we're definitely, science is doing an awesome job at protecting us. But is it going to be like antibiotics, where antibiotics are becoming less and less? I don't know. But that being said, the longer this pandemic lasts, the worse our economy will be, and that more Americans have died because of COVID-19 than any other country. And Rand Paul is pushing this anti-vax nonsense is devastating.